Which motorcycle here is a 130 horsepower monster capable of a top speed of 165 miles per hour in a 0 to 60 time of about 3 seconds? And which motorcycle is a friendly 35 horsepower beginner bike? Can you tell? Well, maybe you can, but it's hard to say which one is bigger if you're not familiar with motorcycles or a beginner rider. Well, after watching this video, you'll be able to tell if that bike that just rolled up next to you is a powerful rocket that will take off in the blink of an eye, or a docile commuter bike. First off, tires tell a lot about a bike. Small bikes like my Ninja 300 have a small tire. The width of the rear tire on this particular bike is a 140. The rear tire on a 2013 ZX6R is a 180. It's definitely noticeable. This is also true with the front tire, although not as dramatic. The front of a Ninja 300 is a 110, and the front of a ZX6R is 120. Not a huge difference, but you can still tell. Next is the handlebars. Typically a small beginner bike will have higher handlebars, while a 600 will have lower clip-ons, or handlebars if you will. Please note there are exceptions to this rule. The new 2015 KTM 390 has low bar height, and some non-super sport bikes have higher clip-ons / handlebars. Another way to tell the difference between a small bike and a big bike is to look at the forks. Small bikes like this Ninja 300 have standard forks. A standard fork is when the black part connects to the wheel and the chrome part is further up. Inverted forks are the opposite, where the chrome piece is touching the wheel. Inverted forks are used to lower the amount of unsprung weight on the motorcycle and also improve the stiffness of the front end. However, there are exceptions to this rule, like the older ZX2R from the 90s. With massive amounts of power, super sport bikes need to have a serious braking system in order to stop the bike. Their brakes are designed to stop the bike from going 165 miles per hour to 0 as quick as possible. Because of this, we usually see dual disc brakes in the front with large calipers, versus on small bikes like my Ninja 300 that you see on the screen here will only have one rotor and caliper. Also, the caliper is very small. My final way to tell if a bike is a small bike or a big bike is to look at the cylinders. Generally speaking, again I'm saying generally, small bikes will have 1 to 2 cylinders and bigger super sport bikes will have 4. In order to tell, you look behind the front wheel and just count the number of pipes you see. My Ninja 300 is a parallel twin, which only has 2 cylinders. The ZX6R has 4 because it is an inline 4 engine. However, there are a lot of exceptions to this rule. Bikes like the Ducati Panigale are very fast super sports that have a V-twin engine inside. Although it wouldn't matter anyway since you cannot see any of the headers on this bike. Also, bikes like the FZ07 are equipped with a parallel twin like my Ninja 300. Despite that, the FZ07 is fairly quick off the line with a 0 to 60 time of just 3.5 seconds. And older bikes like the CBR600RR have an inline 4 engine like the bigger bikes. But generally speaking, any newer model small bike like a Ninja 250/300 or CBR 300 or Yamaha R3 will have between 1 and 2 cylinders. Now I'm going to show you guys the difference between the sounds from an inline 4 engine to a parallel twin engine. You may want to note that the inline 4 has a much more aggressive sound to it. It almost sounds like it's screaming, whereas the parallel seems a little bit more flat. Now we're back to our original question. Which bike is bigger? To refer to what we now know, in order to figure out if a bike is a bigger bike or a super sport, we look at this. Again, one last time, there are exceptions to all these rules. We look for bigger tires, inverted forks, lower clip-ons or handlebars, and an inline 4 engine. Be sure to check out the description as I will add more useful tips that I'm sure I forgot to add in the video. Please remember to rate, comment, and subscribe for more motorcycle videos. Thank you, and take care.